Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm David Kerr from Lansing in Michigan, and these are your latest news headlines from around the world. A parish catechist has been killed in South Sudan after armed gangs attacked and looted two parishes in the Diocese of Tombura Yambio in the south of the country. The first attack took place in the parish of Mupoi on October the 26th. Armed bandits killed the local catechist before vandalising and looting the parish church. 4 days later, men wielding guns descended on another church on the village of Rimnes before making off with parish valuables. In a statement, the country's bishops have condemned the two incidents, adding that the authorities have not yet tracked down the perpetrators. China is facing further condemnation for its treatment of its Uyghur Muslim population in the western province of Xinjiang. The criticism comes in the shape of a new report released on Tuesday by the US Holocaust Memorial Center for Prevention of Genocide. Entitled "To Make Us Slowly Disappear, the Chinese Government's Assault on the Uyghurs," the report claims that the Chinese authorities are increasingly committing crimes against humanity against the Uyghur people, while also attempting to hide the severity of their crackdown. The head of the museum's Committee on Conscience, Tom Bernstein, says that Beijing should stop its attacks on the Uyghur people and permit international observers to conduct a probe to ensure that all crimes have stopped. The report also contains details of forced sterilisation, sexual violence, slavery and forcible displacement. It reached its conclusions based on accounts given by human rights groups and Chinese dissidents. Meanwhile, a Chinese bishop who was detained by police last month has now been released from custody. The Catholic news agency Asia News reports that Bishop Xiao Zumin of Wenzhou Diocese has finally been freed after his arrest on October the 25th. Following that arrest, police authorities had said that the bishop was taking a sabbatical. Asia News reports that Bishop Xiao, who is loyal to Rome, was subjected to brainwashing attempts to force him to join the state-controlled patriotic Catholic Church. It is suggested that the communist authorities are currently cracking down on several other bishops of the underground Catholic Church by forcing them to attend indoctrination sessions. To Pakistan now, and a new claim of another Christian girl being kidnapped and forced into marriage and religious conversion by an older Muslim man. According to a report also in Asia News, 12-year-old Meerab Abbas was abducted on November the 2nd from the town of Sahiwal in the Punjab province. The report claims that the Muslim man responsible for the kidnapping is 10 years her senior and a native of the province of Balochistan. So far, police say that they have arrested two suspects, although 12-year-old Meerab has not yet been returned to her family. The Archbishop of Sydney in Australia is urging Catholics to speak out against euthanasia as the Parliament of New South Wales begins considering legalising the practice. The parliamentary debate on the Voluntary Assisted Dying Bill 2021 began on November the 12th. That's less than a month after the draft legislation was introduced by the Independent Member of Parliament Alex Greenwich. In a letter to his archdiocese, Archbishop Anthony Fisher says it is very important that people voice their opposition to the bill during the public inquiry period, which ends on November the 22nd. The prevalence of elder abuse, along with alarming rates of suicide among the vulnerable, said Archbishop Fisher, means that New South Wales should be especially cautious when it comes to legalising euthanasia. Canada's bishops have confirmed that a delegation of Indigenous peoples will have a private meeting with Pope Francis upon a visit to Rome next month. According to a statement released by the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops, a group of 25 to 30 Indigenous peoples will go to the Vatican from December the 17th to the 20th. They will be accompanied by a small group of Canadian bishops in order to discuss the upcoming papal visit to Canada. Delegates representing First Nations, Inuit and Métis communities and those representing various faiths and linguistic groups will meet the Holy Father. Pope Francis agreed to visit Canada last month after hundreds of unmarked graves of Indigenous children were discovered within the grounds of residential schools previously run by the Church. The date for the papal visit to Canada is yet to be fixed. Meanwhile, Pope Francis met with around 500 poor people in the Italian town of Assisi on Friday. Those present hailed from various European nations. Many of them were homeless, unemployed, or migrants. The papal trip comes just ahead of Sunday's celebration of the 5th World Day of the Poor. The meeting was followed by a half-hour break during which those present were offered a hearty snack. The Holy Father urged all Christians to extend their hands towards those in greatest need of assistance. Finally, this Sunday will see many Spaniards gather near Madrid to prayerfully mark the 85th anniversary of the mass killing of priests, religious and lay Catholics during the country's civil war. Throughout November 1936, anti-Catholic Republican troops massacred an estimated 5,000 people at Paraculis del Jarama on the outskirts of the capital. Among their number were priests and religious brothers from almost 20 different congregations and orders. Already 143 of those who were murdered have been declared martyrs and beatified by the Vatican. On Sunday, Holy Mass will be offered at the chapel of the Cemetery of the Martyrs of Paraculis. There will then follow a procession to their graves, the graves of the fallen, in order to offer further prayers. Well, that's your latest news headlines for now. Do join us for more tomorrow. You can also visit us at swnews.org for news updates. Shalom.